Harley Earl was probably the most influential man in American automobile design.
A lot of people share the spotlight, but don't kid yourself. Bill Mitchell was the driving force.
Everybody will light up when you say Zora Ark has done talking.
It takes a special kind of athlete to be a race car driver. They need to be brave, skilled, aggressive, and able to make decisions in a fraction of a millisecond. They must push their car to the edge against a grid of opponents on the most dangerous battleground of any sporting event, the racetrack. To even survive, especially back then, it took skill and luck. To become a champion, though, it takes all that and the ability to outrace everyone else for a season. To become a legend, however, one must go from winning to dominating. One such legend is our first inductee into the Corvette Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Bondurant.
When I was a kid, I liked anything that had wheels on it. Tricycle, bicycle, and then my dad took me to Gilmore Stadium every Thursday night to watch the midget races. And I thought, wow, I want to race. Ironically, I've never raced a midget. I've raced everything else.
Bob started his career driving an Indian motorcycle as a teenager. Speed just seemed to come naturally to him as he began winning races on the dirt oval tracks around Los Angeles. As he began racing sports cars, he soon realized that he needed a car that was a better match to his skill level. He bought a '57 Corvette.
My very first Corvette race was in Santa Barbara, California. And that was a wild track. And there were 36 Corvettes. All of us wanted to win. They dropped the flag, we took off. I was about mid-pack. I'm trying to really learn how to race my Corvette. And I started passing Corvettes, and the fiberglass was flying. The guys are running into each other. I thought, wow, this is wild. And I started passing Corvettes, and I caught the leader. I went to pass him. He chopped me off, did a 360, took it on back. At the checkered flag, I won 18 out of 20 races and finished second at the other two. And I won the SCCA National Championship. 614, it was my sponsor's Corvette dealership, and that's the address. So I made 614 famous by winning 30 out of 32 races. Then the Stingray came out. That was a faster car, still 614, and I won so many races in that car. It was great.
The battle between Carroll Shelby's Cobras and Zora's Corvettes became an exciting matchup for race fans. Eventually, Shelby decided that the best way to keep his car out in front was to put Bob Bondurant in the driver's seat.
I won many races in the Cobras and made them very famous. I won Sebring 12-hour race. I won at Le Mans, beating Ferrari for the very first time. After I beat Ferrari in the World Manufacturers Championship, I met Enzo Ferrari, and he gave me my very first Formula One ride in the U.S. Grand Prix.
As Bob's star continued to rise, he was approached by Hollywood to serve as a driving consultant for the film Grand Prix. After that, he drove Corvette again at Le Mans, breaking the lap record by a full 10 seconds.
We've actually talked to Europeans in Europe that were there during the race, and they said that Corvette that Bob and Dick Goldstrand raced actually shook the windows as they were coming down the street from the port to the racetrack. They didn't even have a transporter. They had to literally drive the car from the port to Le Mans, and the people remembered that day when that red, white, and blue Corvette's coming down the street.
Dick had never been there. I'd raced there many times. He was so excited, I had to calm him down. I said, Dick, we have a long race here. And he said, oh yeah, I know. You got the best start of my life, the Le Mans start, where you run across the track, flat out. I ran like hell. I jumped in the car, fired it up, took off, and the first one in turn one. Ferraris hadn't even moved yet. And we were in the Ferrari GTO class, beating the Ferrari GTOs, and with our fantastic Corvette. I thought, wow, we're leading and we're going to win this thing. And then after 15 hours, the wrist pin broke. But the fans, when Dick was going back to the pits, walking, they all cheered him on.
Bob was at the height of his career when suddenly, on June 27, 1967, something happened on turn 4 at Watkins Glen.
Well, I was in my Can-Am car going 150 miles an hour, felt great, and my right steering arm brakes heading right into an embankment. Hit that sucker and flipped 8 times, end over end and sideways, and ended up in the hospital. The next day, the doctor tells me, you'll never walk again. I was right at the height of my racing career. Thought, now what am I going to do? And I remember training James Garner and the other actors for the movie Grand Prix. That felt good in my heart. And I thought, okay, I'm going to learn how to walk somehow. And the nurse brought me a yellow climber pad. I wrote down for three days how I would do in school, what I needed to do for it, everything.
Bob did learn to walk again, and on February 14, 1968, he opened the Bondurant driving school. His first class was a small one with only 2 students enrolled, Robert Wagner and Paul Newman. He's gone on to teach other celebrities, and today his list of students has exceeded 500,000 graduates. He runs the school with his wife Pat, who he affectionately calls his Formula Uno, and still enjoys driving at speed and helping others get the most out of their cars. The Bondurant story is one of triumph, tragedy, and triumph over tragedy. Through all of it, he has proven that a true champion never gives up, no matter how impossible the odds. For being Corvette's champion and for his role in starting the Corvette racing legacy that continues to this day, we proudly welcome Bob Bondurant into the Corvette Hall of Fame.